Welcome to Sovereign Mamas, the podcast sanctuary for visionary women who are building lives, businesses, and legacies in alignment with their feminine power. I'm your host, Julia Jörg, intuitive business coach, mama of two, and systems strategist for solo-led entrepreneurs. Here, we honor both your sacred role as a mama and your wild vision as a changemaker. Expect soul-aligned strategy, raw storytelling, behind the scenes, and powerful conversations that support you in scaling your business without sacrifice. If you're done choosing between success and sovereignty, you're home. Let's begin. All right, welcome back to the Sovereign Mamas podcast, to yet another beautiful interview and episode here on this podcast. And as always, I invite you back to just allow this to be your moment of connection with yourself, with other women out there, no expectations, and leaning into the fact that you're not alone. And by hearing these stories, it's sometimes just a good reminder that we all get it, right? We all get it. And today I have a wonderful guest here. Amy, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, me too. So Amy, you are, as a profession, a physician assistant, and you have been doing this for over 24 years. And you live in the US, and you also have 3 boys, which chapeau, I salute you for this. Being a boy mom myself, I know what this is like. And on the side, you also are a wellness coach for women, or wellness health coach. And so maybe you can start us off by saying, you are already doing so much. You have so much on your plate. And how do you feel these days when you look back and when you think about your journey? How have been those moments where you thought it's just a lot?
It's always been a lot,
Right.
Here in the US, so a PA is similar to a doctor. So we, go through medical training, all of that stuff. So starting from PA school, which was pretty grueling, it's a rough life. Then I was working, then I was stay-at-home mom for many years when my kids were younger. Then I went back to work and I was trying to juggle the house and the kids and the work and the school activities and everything else. And then I decided not to work anymore because I needed to be home. My husband has a job where when he's at work, he can't leave early or, can't do pickups and drop offs and all of that stuff. So that falls on me. And now my boys are teenagers. So they're going from school to sports to activities to other things. And I'm picking up and dropping off all afternoon long. So I decided to leave my career as a clinician and work from home as a coach.
Yeah, amazing. And you help women overcome chronic fatigue, frustration, stress, and feelings of overwhelm. And also you work with this cycle. Let us know a little bit how you do that and how you came to this topic.
Yeah. So a woman in her, anywhere from her teens to her early 50s has a monthly cycle. And we are just taught to push through the pain, push through the cramps, push through the heavy bleeding, keep going, do everything that you would normally do. And I didn't learn this even as a, healthcare professional until I went back to school to study nutrition. And then for the first time in my life, I realized that the foods you eat, the exercises you do, how you handle your stress, and how much sleep you're getting can all affect your hormones. And these things can decide whether you have a lot of PMS symptoms every month or none at all. And it opened my eyes, and I did a lot of reading and research on it, and I didn't believe it at first until I tried it on myself. So the reason I became a coach is because I was able to get rid of my PMS symptoms and my heavy bleeding and everything within just a few months. And then, now I've been doing this for 5 years or so, but my migraines went away. I wasn't yelling at my kids that often. I was waking up refreshed with energy. It was just like all of
Mhm.
these things that I wasn't expecting also changed when I started focusing on my monthly cycle and what foods I was eating and what exercises I was doing.
Powerful. If someone comes to you and says, okay, I have these symptoms and I really struggle, then I guess you do an assessment first and then you create customized plans for each individual. Yeah.
Yeah. So, just to give you a brief introduction of the monthly cycle, a woman goes through 4 phases each month. So, we all know we have the bleed, right? The monthly bleed. If you're trying to conceive, you may have heard of ovulation. Maybe you're tracking for ovulation. And there's two other phases. There's the follicular phase, which is right after your bleed, and there's the luteal phase, which is the PMS week before your bleed.
Mhm.
And in each of these phases, the hormones are at different levels. The body needs different nutrients. So some
Mhm.
weeks you need more B vitamins and magnesium, and other weeks you need iron and zinc, right? So if you give your body what it needs in each phase of the cycle, your hormones are very balanced and
Mhm.
steady, and it reduces all your symptoms.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think I don't know if that's something, but maybe that some people can relate to, but after you had children, um, a lot of things changed too, right? Because I was always blessed of not having any symptoms, so I
Nice.
sometimes didn't even notice that it's coming, or I was just like maybe also in my 20s very disconnected with my body, I should say. I if I think back now, but there was no pain for me, and so I never really understood how women can stay in bed if you know. But now after the two boys, and I especially they're 6 and 8, but now I feel like I can feel my cycle. I can feel it not in a way that I'm really affected, but I'm more connected. I can understand. Oh, I'm more tired. Oh yeah, of course. I'm these many days before my bleed comes, and so I've luckily because I'm living in tropical islands since since over 5 years, and so I have a very natural rhythm, and I have the luxury also to adjust my lifestyle to whatever needs we have in the family. And so, but I once met a woman, she's actually a business coach, and when she dropped that sentence, it stuck with me. She said, I only work 3 weeks per month, and the fourth I take off. And she called it something, it was her, I don't remember now the exact term, but she related it to, integration and enjoying life, and because she works so hard in the 3 weeks. But then also in the side note, oh, and that's when I have my bleed. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's game changing, right? It is something if you allow yourself and if you are in the position to do so, how wonderful is that to honor your
Mhm.
body and to actually
Yeah.
give this a focus and let
It's,
life.
it's very intuitive.
Yes, yes, I love
And
that.
we're taught to ignore that intuition from a
Mhm.
very young age.
Yeah.
If you have symptoms that and you go to the doctor, they'll say, well, here's the pill, take a
Yes.
pill, take your pain medication, use a heating pad, right? There's not really much options if you go
Yeah.
to a doctor.
Yes.
Um, and like I said, I didn't believe any of this when I first heard about it, that just diet and exercise and better sleep could eliminate my symptoms. I would have laughed if somebody had told me that, 6 years ago.
Wow. And so who are the women who are coming now? Like, are they already open or are they really doubtful? How is that? Like,
Well, so I don't even advertise that I can fix your cycle and your symptoms, right? I start with, are you constantly fatigued and exhausted all day long? Are you like feeling anxiety and overwhelm and increased stress? And
Mhm.
all of these things, you're not sleeping right, you're not eating right, you're running around behind the kids trying to get out all their activities and schedules and things. You're trying to manage a household. So it's a combination of a lot of different things that their initial presentation is. So they might just be like, I'm always tired. I'm so exhausted, but my doctor said all my blood tests were normal. Like, what do I do? right? If your thyroid is normal, your iron levels are normal, then they're like, what do I do? And I have women who are also, they're eating healthy, they're exercising regularly, and they're not seeing results. So they're still not able to lose the last maybe 10, 15 pounds, or, they're like, I'm not seeing any increased muscle mass or anything. And I was like that. Thought I was eating, a lot of salads, healthy foods. I thought I was exercising, but it turns out I was eating too little food. So the salads didn't have enough nutrients that I
Oh.
needed. So not enough protein, not enough healthy fats. And my exercises were too long. So I was doing 45 to 60 minutes of cardio most days of the week. And even trying to push through, like, on my PMS week and the bleed. And um, those longer exercises were raising my cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which, prevents weight loss, affects your energy, affects your sleep. And once I learned about the cycle and how to exercise and eat with it, I now eat more. I probably have, 4 smaller meals throughout the day, plus maybe a snack here and there. And I'm exercising maximum, 15 to 30 minutes a day. And I'm seeing more results with my muscle tone. I have better energy, all of
Nice.
these things just by living in tune with my body and giving it what it needs every day.
Yeah, I love that. I love, how when you have something and then not let it be an outside fix, or you just didn't settle, right? You said, okay, no, there has to be a solution, and it can't be always on top. Like that's what I feel so frustrating. And you said it before, like you have something and you get a pill for it. And we're not looking into the root cause. We're not, or modern medicine, or traditional medicine, I should say, is not really interested in that. And so, yes, it's great that you, especially with your background. So, what do you think, like this, your career? I feel like it's so unique that especially you, as this coming from the medical sector and now coming into the alternative space, let's call it this way,
Yeah.
have had the strength and the sight to actually wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so when I learned this and I figured it out, and I was telling my colleagues, and they would look at me like I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I created a small little workshop for healthcare professionals about how to integrate the monthly menstrual cycle into a woman's wellness plan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, instead of just offering the pill or, whatever medicine first, because we do it with diabetes, we do it with high blood pressure, we do it to prevent cancer. So why can't we do it to improve our monthly symptoms?
Yeah.
And so now I am teaching doctors and PAs, in a little mini workshop. I've done a couple of live ones as well. And then I do online webinars to teach them and just give them awareness. And I tell them, you don't have to know it all, because you won't have time in 15, 20-minute appointment slots to teach this. But I spend an hour a week with each of my clients.
Yeah.
And we really, in a 3-month program, we go through 3 full cycles, right? So they really get the hang of it by the end of that.
Oh, cool. That's so cool. Amazing. Yeah, I love that you're doing that. And I hope a lot of other medical um, people are picking that up and helping women around the world. Let's talk a little bit about your journey as a mother. So 3 boys, all teenagers now.
3 boys, and my
Oh.
journey started many years before that, because we struggled with infertility also. And so we tried for a couple of years, and then I had all the procedures and the doctor's appointments, and they kept saying, oh, your blood work is normal, your
Mm.
ultrasound was normal, we don't know why you're not getting pregnant. In
Hmm.
retrospect, I do realize that it was me not taking care of myself,
Hmm.
and just my hormones must have been out of whack, and this and that, because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I went through IVF. So I had my first son with the IVF. I had a frozen embryo, which we transferred couple of years later. So I had my second son. And then I thought I was done. I thought my life was, my family was complete. My life was good. And I got pregnant naturally
Oh.
with the third.
The third.
And so, but I was eating better. I was taking care of myself, during the pregnancies and during breastfeeding. I was really meticulous about eating well and exercising and this and that. So, yeah, my third was a surprise. And so we always tease them now. We're like, we did buy two, get one free kind of a deal.
Yeah. And that also, a wonderful message. It's, yeah, shifting just the awareness, right? Of how sometimes we're so connected to one goal, and but we're not seeing that the path that we're choosing is actually not leading us to the goal. And then once you let go of the grip, like in this case, the babies, now you had them, you were relaxed, you were doing all the things, and then it happens, these
Yeah.
stories. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're close in age. So now they're 16, 14, and 12.
Oh,
So
wow.
I am
Yeah.
a busy mama in the kitchen.
And yes, and oh my goodness. I mean, and we spoke briefly last time when we met. I mean, my kids are only 6 and 8. And I'm scared about the teenage years coming along because I'm already like, I feel like I live with adults, with 3 adults actually. And it's like a non-stop eating thing. Do you find that, is there any food that they may, if they choose, if they eat more protein, then they get filled up quicker? Or is there any hack that you found to keep?
Yes. So there's some cookbooks here in the US called The Sneaky Chef,
Uh-huh.
where this lady takes vegetables and she steams and purees them and,
Hmm.
makes a nice little puree. And then she puts those vegetables into things like marinara sauce or macaroni and cheese, or, I even put it in the beans for our Mexican night.
Okay.
So I try to make sure as a, nutrition expert too, that they're getting lots of protein, which as a vegetarian, sometimes they don't always like the beans and this and that, but then I hand them a protein shake or something else. I'll say,
Mhm.
especially now you're doing sports, you're in
Yeah.
activities, you're not getting home till 5 o'clock every night, you need to eat properly. So I do sneak vegetables into a lot of their meals. And I, make healthier versions of muffins and pancakes and
Mhm.
things like that. So I'll throw in maybe a protein powder into their pancake batter, or
Mhm.
their muffins. I make homemade muffins, and now they're teenagers, right? So they'll eat two or three in one sitting. And so I make a double batch every maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I make 24 muffins. But they have flax seeds in them. They have prunes.
Mhm.
I use the baby food. So there's prunes in there. There's applesauce.
Mhm.
There's some, what else is in there? All kinds of things like wheat germ, right? So
Yeah.
my muffins are better for them, my pancakes are better for them,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get fruits and vegetables into them as often as I can.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess it's just it just comes with the package, right? Just
It's a trial and error. They'll like a food for several
mm-hmm.
months and then they won't eat it again.
Yeah.
And you think this is normal with little kids and picky eaters and this and that, but even as teenagers, they still do it. So I just keep varying it, and I make sure that it's made as healthy as I can make it. So if I
Yeah.
have a vegetable dish, I'll throw in some pureed beans. If I have a bean based dish or an Indian, you know, we did a lot of Indian foods, but I'll throw vegetables into the curry or the sauce or something. So,
Nice.
and it's a learning process every day.
Yeah. Oh. Well, surrendering, breathing. I'm lucky in the sense of my like my boys, they seem to not ever fuss about any vegetables. That's just part of it, has always been like part of our meals. But they just eat, like they eat so many times. Like I feel like, okay, we just ate lunch and then they're at the fridge again. And then I do the same. Like I have, they eat a lot of nuts. And when I bake, then I stuff it also with chia seeds and nuts and, butter. Um, and yet it's just probably part of them growing.
Yeah.
Funny
Yep.
that.
Just keep offering a variety of healthy foods is what I tell them. Like
Mhm.
I always put a bowl of fruit out on the table. If you eat it, you eat it. If you don't, you don't, but it's there. So, it'll be grapes one day, it'll be
Yeah.
berries, the next day it'll be cut up apple the next day. And,
Hmm.
some days the bowl is empty and other days it's half empty or not empty, but I just
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Okay. Now, any like we're here, like most of the listeners are mompreneurs. So we have
Mhm.
businesses going on, mom life going on. Most of the listeners also are very open towards, spiritual topics where it comes to, first finding yourself and then basically going on that path while you juggle mom life and entrepreneurship. Have you like what is your story about you being more in connection with yourself, maybe God, universe, nature, whatever you want to call it? Um, have you had like a specific moment in time where you say, oh, this is what changed my life, and from there on, like
Mhm.
epiphany?
Yes. So when I started tracking my cycle and again, eating differently based on each week of the cycle and exercising differently, um, my goal was just to get rid of the physical symptoms.
Hmm.
And they went away in, 4 months. And then within 6 months, I noticed my migraines were gone and I was less irritable. And then I had more energy and then I had more mental clarity. And that's
Hmm.
when I decided to become a coach. I think that was the turning point for me, saying, one, I felt so much better. I felt like a new woman.
Right.
And two, I had the energy to pursue this dream, right? And when I started my business, that was the first time I ever hired a coach for
Hmm.
myself. And my growth from there was so exponential. Like I wasn't very spiritual. I wasn't in tune with myself. I wasn't, in tune with the higher universe and the spirit and all of that. But through working with my coaches and journaling and reflection and meditation, I've become much more spiritual than I have ever been. And for the mompreneurs out there, you can plan your business also around your monthly cycle. Just like you said, you had the lady, right?
Hmm.
There are certain weeks you're more creative naturally. There
Hmm.
are certain weeks where in ovulation we have a testosterone surge, so we're naturally more outgoing and social. And that's a great week to book a presentation or a speaking engagement. In the following week, that PMS week, if you're taking care of yourself, your intuition is really high.
Hmm.
So you got to listen, lean in and listen into that gut feeling that you're having.
Hmm.
And then you take the time, the week or a couple of days off to rest and reflect on your past month and your projects and this and that. Uh, so your workflow can also go along with your cycle, and you're much more productive by doing less work that way
Hmm. And it doesn't
because you're
always
kind
have
of
to be
working with your hormones instead of fighting them.
right. And doesn't always have to be the full week, right?
Yeah.
It has to, like you say, a couple days. Sometimes it's just finding that sweet spot where you don't push and really
Yeah.
see, okay,
And
how,
if you have a bleed with no symptoms, you're feeling much better right off the bat. So you can still work.
yeah.
You just won't be miserable at work while you're there.
Amazing, amazing. And you also brought a freebie that people can opt into. We obviously link in the show notes to it, but what can people do when they opt in?
It's basically an introduction. So we have two internal clocks. We have our 24-hour clock, which most of us know about, right? You need sleep. You need to eat certain times of the day. Your energy level spikes at certain times of the day. It drops at other times of the day. And then, so the guide tells you more about that. And then it also tells you about the monthly cycle, the 4 phases, what they are, and it gives you some quick tips that you can start doing in each of those phases
Mhm.
to help get you started.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, cool. Well, and then of course, if people want to come and work with you and go deeper in getting to know your work, then there's the opportunity to connect with you and discover their, connection with themselves and their cycle pattern. Amazing. I think this is very useful. Like I said, I love that you're doing this work. It's necessary, it's helpful, and I hope a lot of women today will take this as a sign that you're not broken. You're not one of those who are punished by something. It's just you might not be in tune yet with your cycle, and there's good news. You can fix it.
Yeah. It's not permanent. You can fix it and you can improve it. And
Perfect.
like I said, I feel like a completely different woman now. So it's
Mm.
possible.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Amy, for coming on, for sharing this wisdom with us, and yeah, taking the time. And fingers crossed, I wish you a not too stormy and snowy weekend. And yeah, for everyone who's been listening and who has more questions, please do comment or reach out directly to Amy or myself. We're always happy to hear and get feedback. And yes, that's it for today. I'm looking forward to the next episode. And Amy, thank you so much for being on with us
Thank you
today.
so much for having me. It was a blast.